We'll have the normal group that we usually do. But I thank you for recording this. I think it'll be helpful for everyone. So let me go ahead and pan into my presentation here. There are really good updates given the progress that's being made with vendors implementing service. Just a minute. Let me know if you can see the screen. Perfect. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get started. First few items that we'll cover is, of course, just some facts that we want to share with the group. It will be a little bit of a different format than we normally do, but I think it's a little bit more straightforward also. Service requests and unmet service needs, we'll cover that also, a summary of new service implementation, and then also we're getting into capacity building as we are seeing the unmet service needs for the majority of the county start being filled. So we're getting into really talking about capacity building for future requests too. The next slide is just a couple of fun facts. People scheduled, we have 1,622 people scheduled for transportation out of in the month of March. Definitely different than where we were last year, and we'll see that in the next slide. 846 of those individuals are transported by commercial providers. 448 are transported by 880 providers. And then we also included the number of routes that are actively implemented. So 178 routes. This doesn't include the number of routes that we're implementing in the month of April. So the first 2 weeks of April, there's already been additional routes that have been implemented as well. So you'll see that number go up. And of course, there's a breakdown. The light green identifies the number of routes by commercial providers. And the dark green is the number of routes by 880s. Those are your residential your residential providers and your day programs also. And then we have 39 service providers. That in itself has doubled from where we were even about a year ago. So there's been excessive vendor development that's been happening. And again, you'll see the breakdown of that. And then the next slide identifies the number of one-way trips overall. We wanted to note where we were last year in March. We had just over 19,000 trips, and these are one-way trips that are accounted for each individual. In the month of March, we had over 67,000 trips that were scheduled for participants of VMRC. So that's just a piece of information that we keep track of, because it also quantifies just how individuals have been returning back to in-person services Monday through Friday. That's one of the biggest things that we've seen in the past 3 months, where individuals are not only returning to program, but also choosing to return to program Monday through Friday, extending their days that they attend. The next slide is specific to the transportation service requests that have been received and that have been processed. The yellow under March represents the number of requests that we've received, either from service coordinators or from programs that call in, or even homes that are requesting to return back to service. And then the 179, those are the total number of essentially changes that were processed through our scheduling department. You see that's pretty, compared to February, we see the trend that it's starting to kind of level out, although that's still high, even from where we were in March of last year. And the next slide, this slide particularly gives you an overview of where we are under unmet service needs. I think this is the first month that we have only one county with unmet service needs. And that's San Joaquin. This is where we have our biggest need and where we're actively working with providers to implement new service, particularly with the existing providers that we have. Commercial providers, MV, STORE, SEC Transportation, which I think is one of our newest transportation providers in that area. And we're continuing to add service. In the other counties, we've been able to build up capacity to fill any needs that are coming through. What's not represented here is if someone needs an attendant, then at that point there may be a little bit more time that it takes to schedule transportation because the vendor needs to hire an attendant. I do know that for Stand County, we have a few individuals that are pending an attendant, and that's part of that process of the vendor hiring and training the attendant before it's rolled out, before they roll out service. But the other thing I want to emphasize is the individuals in Tuolumne. These are individuals that were pending. We had about last month about 20 individuals that were pending service, and we were able to essentially fill that request from one of our current providers. We anticipate that we're still going to need service because we based on the POS data that we have pre-COVID, we know that individuals are going to be returning at some point. So we'll want to plan for that also. Then the next slide is a summary of new service implementation during the month of January, February, and March. The first quarter of this year was really dynamic when it comes to the number of routes that were implemented. The total number of routes were 28 the first quarter. That means 28 new vehicles, drivers, from various types of vendors, whether it was A80s or commercial providers. And another thing to note, 150 routes were scheduled as of the end of December of 2022. And now, of course, that increased as you see in March, we have 178 routes scheduled. And that's already increasing because just in the month of April, vendors were able to implement service for Tuolumne and also additional routes for San Joaquin County. So the section on the right under service months, it gives you a breakdown of the number of routes that were essentially implemented each month within the different counties also. The next slide that we wanted to focus on also is capacity building. And this is something that we're really honing in on because we know that there's going to be additional needs based on the data that we have on the POSs that were open pre-COVID. So we were able to identify a snapshot based off of pre-COVID POSs, March of 2020, that identified the number of opened auths. And so we took that information and really identified how many routes would we need in order to fill additional requests that would be coming through. So whether that is for the Foothill counties, for Stand County, and also for San Joaquin, what that would mean. So for Amador, Calaveras, and Tuolumne, we know we're going to need 2 additional routes because we anticipate people will be returning back. In Stand County, we also anticipate having to need 7 additional routes in order to fill any needs that are coming through also. And again, this is with the assumption that everyone would return back to service. And I think, you know, from our side, that's the goal, right? In order to build capacity. And then in San Joaquin, we need at least 5 routes in order to build up capacity. And that's including the unmet service needs that are currently pending. So I did want to also just mention that for San Joaquin County, one of the projects that we're working on is with SEC Transportation. If your program is being served by them, you may notice that they have smaller capacity vehicles. In the month of late April and going into May, those vehicles will be switched to larger commercial vehicles, which means capacity is going to increase. And we're planning for the addition of riders onto those routes. So that's one of the items that we're actively working on also. I do have to also mention they ordered brand new vehicles and back in December. So now they're just now receiving those brand new vehicles, which they're going to be swapping out their existing vehicles with larger capacity. So it's something for us to kind of keep in mind when we saw that number of unmet service needs for San Joaquin of 100 individuals. A lot of those will be absorbed by existing routes that are currently on the road. And from my side, I think that's the main information I wanted to share with the group. I'll stop my PowerPoint. But any questions from the group?
What was that last company that you were saying that was adding?
SEC Transportation. So they provide service in San Joaquin, and they were vendored in December and really committed to providing service for VMRC. And they ordered 10 new vehicles, and in the meantime, they brought in temporary vehicles in order to meet the services that they could. But the temporary vehicles have smaller capacities. So now that they're getting in their new vehicles, those will have larger capacities too. So it'll expand. I think it may double the number of individuals that they can transport. So that's going to be a big help in San Joaquin County as we work through implementing new service.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Any questions from the group? And I know we have a smaller group today, so we can definitely, if there's any other questions, I think we can definitely spend some time.
I'm still getting some emails. Thought it was at 10 a.m. So.
Yeah. And I will be happy to share this information during class also this month. So if someone missed this session, I'll take some time to review the information also during class.
We'll have a recording, so we can send that out too. I don't know if you've seen all the work that we're doing to try to help the providers attract people to come to work for them. We're doing a job fair coming up, and there's one in May in the Sacramento area, and then June 15th there in Lodi. And maybe we can get you all our links so that you can help share that with the transportation provider.
I just sent the website link in the chat.
Thank you.
Or let me share it. I can share it too. Let me share it. Maybe you can do a quick explanation, Tony.
Yeah. So Myra, we have this collaboration with Alta Regional Center. Our providers in our area, there are providers there, and we're we're trying to highlight the good work that all of the providers do in the community, and we want to focus on all the providers. And the transportation providers is one of the areas where, I mean, it sort of impacts the day program providers and residential, everybody else as well, right? So if we could help them and maybe they could participate, see that the banner on the top, Meyer, talks about the job fair. And in there, they could sign up and it's free, so they could come to we're calling them Disability Industry Career Expo. So it's called DICE, very dicey, but we're having them for free and they can come and interview people and, you know, take applications or whatever in both locations. So maybe if you could share that, we're doing the best we can to share it out to our community, but you have a lot of direct contact too with our transportation providers, so it'd be really helpful if we can get them to be there as well and get all the drivers that they need.
Thank you for sharing this.
Yeah, it's gonna be, it's an industry, like, we're selling it as like an industry, not even selling it, because it's free to any provider that wants to come set up, but it's to support the industry as a whole. So, you know, even if MB or store doesn't need drivers, we'd love to have them come and just tell us what they do and set up a display table and tell us what they do. And maybe they do need drivers, and interested job seekers are interested in becoming a driver, but we're hitting all aspects of the regional center. So licensed care homes, licensed day programs, transportation, early start programs, autism intervention programs, any program that we fund, we want them to come and just support the industry at one of these two events, the Lodi one on June 15th or the Sacramento one on May 3rd. And to register, you just scan the QR code or click the link and you can register for your table.
So that'd be helpful, maybe if you can, when you chat with
Yeah.
the transportation providers directly.
Yeah, that would be great for store. We could really use drivers, even school bus drivers, for our special needs kids and, you know, the adult program, but we would totally be interested in attending that with some
Yeah,
patient
great.
bus aides as well.
Yeah, it's just a 4-hour commitment. It's a 10 to 2, Thursday, June 15th. And all you have to do is register your agency or your business through the QR code or the link. Love that. Transportation, that'd be awesome if we had transportation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
good.
It's
Thanks.
send it out to our transportation providers.
Great.
Great. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity to be able to network and see if there's any traction that any vendors get. Thank you. And then one of the things that I'll add, Doug, I know you mentioned that the link for our May meeting is going to change. Can we generate a link now and add it?
Yes.
And I could add it to the chat. That
Yep.
way anyone on this call can share it out with the group. And then separately we'll do an email blast also to anyone who's on our roster.
Yep, I'll do it right now. So the next meeting will be
Should be on the 11th.
Thursday, May 11th, 11 a.m.
That's right. Thank you. That way we have a fresh link and we can share it with the group.
Good. Good.
I'll ask the group, are there any other questions that anyone may have?
I have one. Hi,
Hello.
I'm Mike Carroll. I'm at Central Valley Training Center in Stockton. I'm on Murray Drive. We currently have 2 satellite spots. One is a dance studio downtown, which MV is going to, but they're only doing 4 out of the 20 participants. And then the other one was the Oasis Gym off Hammer and Tamashanner. And I believe her name was Laura. She was out there and she said it was approved for pickup and drop off after she did her inspection. So who do I talk to about when they're going to start going there?
Mike, have we received all the transportation requests for those individuals?
I sent them in months ago, but I could do it again.
If we can, I can have our customer service department reach out to you to confirm that we have all the individuals. And then as soon as once we have those, we could identify, what the time frame is.
Okay.
Obviously in San Joaquin County, that's where we have the most unmet service needs.
Yeah,
But
that's
we're
why I
also
haven't been bugging, yeah.
Yeah, but we're also actively planning for implementation of service. And as I mentioned earlier, if your agency is one that's being served by SEC Transportation, they're increasing their capacity on their vehicles. So your program may be able to have other individuals allocated to those routes.
Okay.
And also, I know that Envy is working on adding in new routes in the month of April and May.
Yeah, they added one route when we first got the dance studio.
Mm,
It's been a while. It's been like probably 7-8 months, but we
Okay.
haven't got a new one since then.
got
And
it.
then shortly, I think actually before that site got approved, the gym got approved, but there's no
Mm,
routes there yet. So I
okay.
know you guys are busy and I don't want to bug, but I just want to who else can I talk to make sure
And-
that we're up to date on it.
This is for which one of your sites?
Murray Drive, Stockton West, CBTC.
Okay. Yeah, we'll need to contact you in regards to the individuals that we have on file.
Okay,
Because from what you mentioned, did you say 20?
yeah,
10?
no, it's about 20.
Okay,
And they all live, the way we divided it up originally was if they lived South Stockton, West Stockton, then and they're eligible for satellite, then we put them at the dance studio. And they currently drop off one group of 4, but I have to send one staff all the way down there for just one group, and then the other groups up here, so they're split for the whole day until they can meet up again.
yeah. Anil, do you think we can have Lily reach out to Mike just to reconcile the individuals? Because it seems like we may not have all the full list. As I was looking at the,
We can definitely do that, Mike. Our customer service representative, Lily, will be, can connect with you and we can go over the list.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
any other questions from the group?
Yeah, I have a question. Myra, you had helped me with correcting our rate study survey that was done, and we are supposed to get an increase. Who do I need to talk to about that? Is there someone at BMRC I need to talk to?
Good question. It would be resource development. So any vendor who was eligible for an increase would, after the data was submitted, then at that point, they would normally receive a letter from the regional center that identified that, in fact, they were eligible for an increase and outlined what that was. So I can reach out to Robert and Karina in order to get an update on where we are. And then that would outline what your rate is too.
Okay, can you
But
include me in
I'm
that?
glad we were able to catch that.
Thank you so much for assisting us with that. But if
The-
can you include me in your contact to them?
The
Yeah, we-
inquiry can go to rates@vmrc.net.
I've been
Thank
quiet
you.
already. I haven't got a response yet.
Well, yeah, there's a zillion rates that are being processed.
Yeah,
The other thing is we will be meeting with Robert tomorrow, so I could put it on our agenda for our session. And I could circle back with you, Joseph.
great. Thank you so much.
Problem.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah. Any other questions? If not, I think we could end our session a little early.
Yeah.
Any questions from VMRC side?
No, we were talking about we're developing the office in Tracy, so. We probably, that's a future conversation, but we'll probably need to have some planning meetings and in our future for that area.
Sounds good. All right, well, from my side, Doug, I'll go ahead and share the link. And just for everyone on the call, there is a link in the chat for our session for the month of May. If you want to add it into your calendar, that will be for May 11th at 11. And then also I'll send this out to the group.
Very good.
Just making a note of it from my side. And
Okay.
then we'll also, let me see if I could copy it. For some reason, it's not copying. Just want to make sure we have it. It's just me. Can anyone copy the link?
I emailed it to you too. You should have a calendar. invite.
Okay.
Yeah, you
perfect.
can't copy it. I tried.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Doug, if you emailed it. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, looks like I got it from my side. Thank you. So we'll send that out to the group too. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining.
Very good. Thanks, Myra. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hope you
Bye-bye.
Get those numbers down.